Hello, everyone. Welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. We're at episode 836. This is being recorded on September 10, 2025. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I think I'm still Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath, but without a new floor.
I'm Brett Van Spernberg. Welcome back to everybody.
I'm Kent Burgess, and if it weren't for those meddling kids, we would have gotten away with it.
Yes, and you too could be one of those meddling kids, at least in spirit, by manipulating us into continuing this thing. Go to patreon.com/PCPer and give generously. You know what? We don't even mind if you're a hacker, as long as you give generously. With more on this, Brad Van Spernberg.
It's really a two-way street in manipulation. I think, we buy into it, you buy into it. It's really kind of a group hallucination thing going on here. So thanks for being a part of it. We did take a break from last week. Sebastian may mention it again. But people jumped into the Patreon and threw some well wishes our way. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. I think most people are feeling slightly better physically, maybe somewhat. Sebastian only has 90 minutes in him. Josh had to be, I think, wheeled in and propped up next to the computer. Kent, I think he's just hanging onto the desk, just barely anyway. But we did have a couple of thanks to go out, and Sebastian wasn't kidding. A Hacker was definitely somebody that we wanted to thanks for hanging out. Bronze MFP, I think that's how you would say that. And TNT Up, Trupp, TN Trupp, I don't know. But thank you. TN Trupp. Thank you for hanging in there and keeping the contributions going. And you too.
I bet you it's Tantrip.
It's probably Tantrip. You two can be in this mix. Hop on board. Go to Patreon. Figure it out.
I read that second one.
And we can also get your name wrong.
Bronze.
Brontum up.
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And we will remember you in our thoughts and our dreams. Burgers. Josh, please take it away.
Well, you know what? I'm taking your advice to heart. I'm trying to step away a little bit from burgers. So today I had something different, something real different. I had chili cheese fries. They were special today. And originally it was like, hey, our special is chili cheese fries and a Big L's chili dog. I was like, well, I'll take them both. And the guy looked at me with these huge wide eyes. You're going to take them both? I was like, well, how big are the chili cheese fries? Well, apparently they're that big. That's a lot of chili. It's a lot of cheese. It's a lot of fries. And
well, it's not a banana. The plier is a good reference in size.
Yes. Had to break apart that crust with the pliers and extract the fries. So yeah, originally thought, maybe I'll just get both. But then he told me how big the fries were, and I was like, well, I'll just take the fries.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did.
The cheese dog was like 18 inches?
Well, it would have been too much. Just too much. So yeah.
This isn't too much. This isn't too much. This is just right.
It was too much. But, it turned out
healthy,
to be too much.
as the chat points out. This looks extremely healthy.
Heart
It's
healthy.
glistening with healthiness.
Well, you skip the bun. you drop those carbs from the bun, so that's good. Yeah. Apart from that, it's the same ingredients, but, that's a lot of cheese.
Yeah. Almost. It is a lot of cheese. And you don't see the white queso underneath that cheddar.
It's lurking.
Oh, it is lurking. You can see it there.
Oh, no. There's some queso just north.
Yep.
There it is.
So yeah, it was over the top. It was super fries. And I came home and I exercised.
And our first news story in no particular order, because we're catching up. We didn't podcast last week. Intel Nova Lake S. I know that everybody is hyped about this. Forget AMD and the X3D dominance of the modern desktop enthusiast platform. It is Nova Lake S. And it is 52 cores, perhaps. That's a rumor. 52 cores. That's 16 performance, 32 efficiency, 4 low power. What a delightful and complex mix that could be.
It's a core salad.
It's NVL-S appeared in shipping manifests from late June. It actually, let's see. No. I thought maybe this refresh would be LGA 1851 again. No, it's LGA 1954. So, yes,
Are you
indeed.
saying they're not customers of their 18A?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Interesting
Well,
question.
someone has to be, don't they?
It's more of an observation based upon the definition of what I think that is you're saying. And just makes you go,
So, hey, they could have that going for them. They could be could have the lead in core count, even if they don't have it in IPC. But something to consider. I think it was Jeremy mentioned this. I don't remember now. It's been a while. Whoa.
Sudden Jeremy.
Software-defined super cores. Think about this.
Gosh, we've never heard this before.
Nope.
You could have
Otherwise known as
software.
Core Fusion back about 2007, 2008. Yeah.
Well, Intel has a patent for it. Now, when you have 52
Well, yeah,
cores,
they did it before.
imagine if you took those 32 efficiency cores and turned them into one massive super core. Ultra
Did
wide
Intel
execution.
invest in Lucid Logic? I can't remember.
It's an interesting idea, I guess. Intel software-defined supercore, SDC, combine two or more physical CPU cores to cooperate as a single high-performance virtual core by dividing a single thread's instructions into separate blocks and executing them in parallel. Think i486. Or really, think Pentium. Pentium had those dual... It was the superscalar architecture. It was almost like having 246 processors in one.
Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how data locality works with L1 and L2 caches? This has been, kind of especially since we started going, 4 cores and above, the idea of, being able to do software in such a way that it can treat those, 4 cores as one really giant core that can do all kinds of work on single thread and, just have incredible throughput. And it's really hard. It's extremely hard, especially with the differing amount of workloads that any computer has. I mean, if you look at how many threads and things run in the background of Windows 10 or 11, it's thousands of threads, and most of them are parked. But then when they're needed, they go into action, go through the CPU and all that, and it's just. I mean, the caches are only so big. You get latency penalties all over the place. It's a lot. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's going to have to be a lot of very, very clever software engineering.
Essentially, you're trying to provide data center fabric connectivity as cheap consumer product, and it's not going to work well. There's a reason that those superclusters cost so much to make and, relatively run as one giant core when needed. So to try and do that on a consumer level, I too want to stand in Best Buy and pay the extra money for the extra frequency or cores on my chip, like back in the good old days. Not quite the same thing. That's fair, but still, it's like, I don't get it. It's not going to work.
So to kind of put a cap on what Intel has done this generation, Intel CFO admits Arrow Lake missed expectations. Quote, "We didn't have a good offering this year." End quote. There's more. This is Intel CFO speaking at a technology conference.
I feel this is incorrect. I think it exactly hit expectations.
You did not see the technical marketing that preceded this launch then?
No, I meant I hit our expectations, not the PR people's.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Intel even moved the voltage and current goalposts on this to try and boost.
When they first launched this, and I have some initial testing somewhere when this actually launched initially, and it was going to be 100 I don't know if it was that 188 watts. It was sub 200, I think. I did some testing there, and it was very underwhelming. And right away, they had all the manufacturers release updated BIOS that took it all the way back up to 250 watts.
Yep.
And that still wasn't enough to match 14th gen, but at least it was
did help.
stable. So I find it kind of misleading when there's all these outlets that are still showing you charts of what a 14900K can do. I wouldn't run a 14900K. It's not stable long term. Do you trust that platform? Do you trust that the CPU is not going to?
You should not.
I don't know, Kent, do you?
He's got 13th gen.
Even that suffered.
It did, but I feel like he has a good sample, and he has it very well.
I mean, I've proudly claimed the stability of my system, but also I do think that I got a really good sample of that chip. It's been delidded. It's been underwater. It's essentially its entire life. So it's been, direct die cooled. And I don't know that it's ever gotten over like 88C in its entire life, even when it's been overclocked pretty heavily. But, since I did that, I've also started gaming at 4K, and I actually just turned the overclock on it down some because I didn't need that at 4K. It was all about the GPU at that point.
Yep. And plus, you've carefully managed your own voltages, and you have been smart about your limits. You're not doing like the lowest common denominator, just throw a bunch of voltage at the wall. Like some of these stock BIOS settings will do. By the way, unknown if this is related or not to their desktop woes this generation, but if you go to this key leadership announcement from Intel from September 8, all the way down to the bottom, a departure at Intel. Just a few months ago, interim co-CEO MJ, is it pronounced Holthaus?
Holthaus.
Holthaus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Holthaus.
she was in the running to be the new CEO.
Yeah.
And then instead, they bring in somebody else, and now she's out the door. So I don't know if that was her choice or theirs, but
she got binned.
Clearly, yeah.
She was actually the person that I was hoping was going to become the new CEO.
Same.
But, yeah.
Oh, YouTube chat wants to know if she was the "Thanks, Steve" lady. Was that her?
That sounds right.
Don't think so.
It's an Intel clip that he plays.
Yes.
But yeah, she was client computing group. She was in charge. So obviously, with their failures, they had to, somebody had to take the blame. So apparently, that's
I guess she's still on for some months though into next year, but she's helping with the transition.
Of course.
Oh, of course.
Teaching them how to use the back end system and
translation.
how to put in time off requests. Yeah, very important.
There's one other thing that article does point out, and that's sort of the obvious thing. Sure, the next Intel CPU is going to ride to the rescue and pull them out of the doldrums, and it's going to, push them towards the. Okay, let's just go with it for a second. But
all AMD has to do is say X3D in every processor.
What we forget is they're going to rev their platform again, and they're going to change the saga. They're not. They're going to probably keep it more than likely. I bet there's a 90% chance they're going to keep it.
If you bought yourself a Z890 board, congratulations, because that disappointing generation of processors is the only thing you can ever install in one of these.
Sadness.
Yeah, I'm annoyed, but okay with that.
Yeah, I mean,
my 580's doing anything.
11th gen was the same way. It was a one and done, and it was a terrible platform to begin with. So, what was that? Z590?
11th gen? I thought that was.
Yeah.
Was it 6?
Oh,
690 was the 12th gen. 690 was 12th gen.
Okay, yeah, that's
right.
the
It
one
did go
actually
Z490
lasted.
to Z590.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was that AMD sort of names-based collision.
They started competing with each other on confusing.
No, we've hit the point
that's
where
why we lose track.
Yeah. We've hit the point where motherboards are barely affordable compared to what they used to be, even lower end ones, and they just don't last generations anymore. I'm
Hey.
not happy about this, but I've sort of come to accept it.
Yeah,
There
but
is
think about
one,
the extra 11 cents they're putting into the networking now with 2.5 gig.
if I remember
Hey, I
correctly
got 5
from
gig.
upcoming stories, we may have a couple of things to combat that trend, Jeremy.
Fair.
Lower costs,
Hey, at least
longer
their
life.
mobile is still pretty good stuff. They
Intel?
they still sell a lot of mobile, laptop chips. AMD has tried. They still have not really gotten that breakthrough product yet.
They've made it on our list for the Ryzen AI. All the devs want it.
And it's sort of going back to the Nova Lake. And I've sort of, been a big, and I've, voiced my support for the E-cores for some time because I think that there's a lot of potential in that design, where you're fitting 4 cores in the physical space of one core on the die, one large core. And the efficiency and performance of these E-cores has improved with each generation. But now on Nova Lake, we're also supposedly going to be getting the BLLC, which is their, larger last level cache to compete with X3D. Nova Lake could be very interesting and it could be competitive. And I look forward to that. I've like I said, I like the E-core design. I think that they're going the right way with that. And they're getting better. So we'll see what the Nova Lake stuff looks like.
All right. Moving on to some AMD news. Upcoming Ryzen 7 9700F and 9500F spotted at retailer. This is from way back on September 1st. So for all I know, they're actually for sale now. But here we have graphics-free parts that cost less. Nothing terribly exciting, but some lower cost options for socket AM5. And especially if you're somebody who's going to be putting together a little bit more budget conscious AM5 system now that, DDR5 is just the memory standard now and board prices have come down to reasonable levels.
We all have those friends who are saying, hey, put me together a system and I have pocket lint for budget.
Are you saying that I have friends?
I didn't mean to imply anything, Josh.
No, you got pocket lint.
Yeah, I do have
okay.
pocket lint. No friends.
The 16th, September 16th is the release date. So it's this updated story from September 7.
You're welcome.
iGPU free. For
It's coming.
Competitive.
It's in a few days.
Yeah. It's always good. More options, lower costs. I'm one of those people who immediately goes in and disables the onboard graphics anyway, because I'm always using a DGPU.
Yeah, but I can get audio out of my onboard graphics.
Yeah, that was a great
Pretty
workaround,
exciting.
Josh.
It works nice.
Used to be able to, on Intel, used to make a nice transcode offload. Get away from your main GPU if you wanted.
Yeah, but we all still miss Enforce. Well, Enforce 2.
Soundstorm.
Hey, speaking of unstable platforms and AMD processors,
Okay, this is true.
ASRock.
Perfect.
It's been so long since we podcasted that this story from August 28 was going to be one of our topics last week. ASRock releasing the updated BIOS, the 3.40 firmware, to make a lot of behind-the-scenes changes for those AM5 boards. And from the comments I've been reading since this update, it has not fixed everything.
Ooh, because we sort of like hit them pretty hard over this the last time we brought it up, so I wanted to make sure that we talked about it when they came out with a fix. Disappointing.
So
that it
they've
may
come
not
up with
have
preparation
actually fixed
G, but haven't quite hit preparation H yet.
I don't have any sources to cite. I just remember reading comments and people were saying, I'm still having issues, but I guess...
I mean, isn't the issue your CPU burns? Like it burns up, it starts to degrade?
Yeah. It is, and it's a serious
I'm not sure
problem
where
because
where
Let's
someone
check
can say
our
they're
AMD
still having issues,
on
because if your
this one.
CPU burned, this isn't going to unburn it by BIOS flashing your
No.
motherboard. Just a quick
No, it's
note
dead.
for you.
no, it just might prevent further burning from occurring, or if you haven't burned yourself yet, then it will stop you from feeling the burn. But
Yeah, and it
if you're
seems like
burned-
it affected more of the X3D parts than
Yeah.
regular.
Mhm.
So
Well, yeah, there's a
And-
disproportionate number of people buying X3D.
fair point.
Stay tuned for any actual resolution to that saga.
We'll mention it when it comes up.
Yes. So
Next up on shocking news.
yeah, this actually was a little shocking. I expect 80+% every time a John Petty research report comes out. NVIDIA dominates, whether you like it or not. And there are the proud, the AMD Team Red card holding Radeon diehards. We've known a few of those, Josh. But Josh also buys NVIDIA, so I'm not whatever.
I've got a good mix of NVIDIA and AMD in my house.
Yeah, but when you spend your own money, what are you buying?
I did spend my own money on a 5070 Ti. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
NVIDIA. That's what I'm saying. When people buy GPUs, I'm not talking about review samples. When people buy GPUs, Josh, they're generally buying from Team Green. As John Petty Research reports, NVIDIA's discrete GPU market share dominance expands to 94%.
That's shocking. It really is.
So if this is
This is
accurate,
the most. Yeah, I mean, the funniest thing is it's the most competitive line of Radeons we've seen in a long time.
are you saying that the general buying public is ignorant?
Oh, remember when?
I'm
remember when
not
there
saying
were-
that. I'm certainly thinking it loudly.
Okay.
But
well, here's the thing: is that AMD has now sold more GPUs this year than they have in the past 4, at least since the RX 6800, 6700 series.
Mhm.
So
Have you seen the price on NVIDIA lately?
yeah, they've gone
That's
down
why.
dramatically.
Well, NVIDIA has
Now they're
moved,
becoming
Yeah. Meh.
they've moved so many units in the last year or two just to people who want to run, I don't even know, like what the blanket AI term.
Copilot.
Get in on that. So just think about, like, nobody's buying Radeon for that. Hardcore gamers who do a lot of comparison shopping and decide that it's a better value for them and don't care about DLSS. There you go. But and they're great. I mean, 9070 XT is one of the best GPUs we've.
No,
reviewed in
honestly, I
years.
wanted to go NVIDIA this generation because the last one I bought was a 1080. And, it's been a long time, so I want to switch back. The prices in Canada, and I'm talking MSRP because the stores I shop at, they just sold MSRP, and when they're out, and it's too bad, when they get more stock in and they come. We're talking $500-$600 for, apart from DLSS and better ray tracing, the same performance within, a couple of frames. It was hard for me to try and justify that. And for the good ones, we're talking double the price.
Don't forget more RAM. We're all about that more RAM.
Yeah, it's all fake RAM.
Got
anyways.
more RAM.
Sometimes.
you can just download that if you need it.
Yeah.
Okay, Johnny.
No, I mean, I wanted to go this generation, but no, the prices are insane. But then again, my NVIDIA's market share is not suffering from that, so it's not going to
Yeah,
stop.
and AMD has done some pretty impressive things with their drivers and software.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn robust. Very few issues. And yeah, the 9070 and 9060 series are outstanding for the price. I mean, they're $50 to $100 less than a 5070 Ti, and just as fast, if not a little faster in some things. Yeah.
Oh, come on. They can go toe to toe with a 5080 in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So there's people in the chat asking, where's this data come from? I think this was the John
JPR.
Bayer research.
JPR.
Yeah.
They apparently have
their own
contact.
industry
They have
sources.
contacts in the
Well,
industry
and some of
that
that
they
is-
get numbers
Some of this is based
from.
on system integrator or really OEMs. So all those systems that are shipping with a discrete GPU, the vast majority have NVIDIA graphics cards in them. If you ever shot
If you look at
for
the
a pre-build.
reviewers, they're all arriving broken anyway. So I don't know if people aren't even.
Hey, speaking of reviewers, and we had a different link. I'm just going to bypass it because it's from August.
Go ahead.
The latest on the Windows 11 SSD issue, there's a bunch of stuff from about the last 24 hours. Here's a story from The Verge.
Oh.
And it has become
Who?
widely reported that the Windows 11 SSD issues with the Phison, is it Phison? Is it not Phison? Now, apparently, Phison is saying that, let's see, the president of Phison US is saying, many of the reports originate from media testing conducted on hardware running early versions of firmware and BIOS. These versions are performance preview drives and are not identical to those provided to end users through official distribution channels, which is, unfortunate. If I'm the only samples I ever see of anything are now considered invalid for testing, especially if
Well,
wait a
provided
minute.
with a
Now,
BIOS
to be
or
fair,
firmware update.
If we take that statement to its logical conclusion, then why provide them to reviewers at all for testing purposes?
Because they accidentally ship them to consumers too. I don't believe that this is not like when they release drives. Yes, it's on an early version of the firmware and they just ship it. Right. So I don't think this is reviewers only. I think it's just reviewers noticing it because some of the original reports were not from reviewers. They were from people, doing work stuff. Now they probably got an early version of it or were, the bleeding edge, buy it the second it comes out. But I still totally believe that, yeah, we're looking at an early firmware issue because, my God, I did a lot of copying over the last week and a bit and nothing happened.
So
on my Phison or my in-house.
The one condition that I've read is that it's drives that are 60% or higher.
Yes.
Filled to 60% or higher capacity.
And you're copying over 500 gigs plus. Yeah.
Right. So, which is something that, as a reviewer, I do exactly this because I will precondition a drive before I do benchmarking by filling it halfway, and I'm moving just massive amounts of data at a time to try to fill it as fast as I possibly can. I sometimes overfill and have to go back and delete some files to get it right at 50%. But I'm just spamming the drive with writes.
Yeah, but
for
that's the
hours.
Point. That's the point.
Right. So I mean, if you're going to
Exactly the point.
if you're going to find some instability, it's probably going to be under those types of like extensive sessions, especially considering the heat that's produced during transfers like that. So who knows what's actually going on? I just think that there was always going to be the potential for problems when we went Gen 5 and even Gen 4.
Or
and
Gen
didn't
4 or Gen
have
3.
The process tech to keep those controllers down to a reasonable power draw. And then it's the Wild West out there for motherboard heatsink solutions. Whether or not you're going to have any airflow over the heatsink is completely dependent on you because there's no standardization for this at all. Unless you go out and buy one of those behemoths on Amazon that has like a huge tower and a fan.
Well, one standard
Even water
seems to be
cooling
burying,
options.
Yeah, one standard seems to be burying one of your M.2s underneath your video card, which is definitely not a source of heat at all in the system.
No, not when you have third-party graphics cards that just dump heat straight down onto your motherboard. That's
a legit exit.
I won't get done benchmarking. I have a card here. You get done benchmarking a card like this, one of these triple slot monsters that dumps just as much heat down as it does up. In fact, more because there's
maybe more.
Oh no, it's going both ways.
Yeah, far more
maybe
front
more
and back.
exit down through the bottom. The boards under these things are so hot.
Cooked.
Get done with a long benchmarking session. And that's where my primary M.2 drive is.
If only we had Alan here to tell us how hot the controller likes it.
Well, he says they like to be warm. The NAND likes to be warm.
The NAND loves
That's right.
warmth.
It's the NAND.
NAND
It
likes
will
warmth, the
write
controller
and
not
read
so
faster.
much.
Well, write faster.
Yes, right faster, but the controller doesn't like that.
Let's talk about something exciting. Sapphire today. And I don't know why they were being so tight-lipped about this, considering there were product listings on their website for days. And we've seen reports of this for a while. But Sapphire had been teasing on social media that something was coming. It was like these shadowy images.
Something big.
Partially obscured images.
Big.
Meanwhile, influential and highly valued members of the media were receiving these boards
like
in
who?
advance. So Sapphire has a new Nitro Plus, and it's not a graphics card. It's a B850 motherboard. The
show it to
Nitro
us.
Plus B850A Wi-Fi 7.
Okay.
And I was a little confused. I don't know if you are too, but the B850 platform seems misunderstood. If you look at a chart of AMD's chipset offerings, not even AMD seems to understand where the B850 stands. Because if you read their chart, it almost seems like it doesn't have PCIe 5 support for the graphics card. But it does. Because, of course, it's off the CPU. So if you're interested in all the extra goodies that you get from, say, X870, X870E from the chipset, this isn't for you. But if you're putting together a gaming system where you just have primary graphics card, M.2 drive,
Right.
you're not going to be held back by a B.
You don't need to spend any more.
This is the problem with the 850. It's so brilliant, but yet less expensive compared to the X870 and E. AMD doesn't want you to buy it, but yet it's a great board. It's a great chipset.
Well,
it's really hard to argue not doing it.
Power delivery, though, it's a 12 plus 2 plus 2, which
Yes.
that's kind of the
2-1
lower end of enthusiast stuff.
It's
14
fine.
and 16.
Are you
is
overclocking?
more
Josh,
common.
Listen. If
What?
you are
Probably not.
a modern AMD enthusiast, aren't you buying X3D anyway? And those
Well,
things
I need to get 80 amps, not 55.
capped at
Excuse me.
120 watts. Each of those power phases is good for like 50 amps, Josh. There's 12 of them.
Not good enough.
By the way, the price point on this board from Sapphire is $189. So
Very
That's
good.
actually really good.
That's gorgeous.
That's great. Yeah.
It's AM5. And if you look at AMD's chart, you'd think, okay, where's B850? It's right above B840, and B840 is only PCIe 4.
And hard to
Fewer
find
lanes,
and not worth it.
no CPU overclocking. But B850 does have CPU overclocking. Under NVMe, it says 1 by 4 PCIe 5.0. And under graphics, it lists 1 by 16 or 2 by 8 PCIe 4.0.
Now
That is
that because it's a
incorrect.
B850A, it's optional. They can actually implement a 5.0, I think.
I see.
Yes.
So the A means something.
It might.
Well, the standard is that you have to have this, but you can have better.
Really, it's just a signal integrity thing, really. I mean, for any PCIe. So if they said, no, we've made this more robust, we know this can handle PCIe 5, then why not?
I just looked up my B850 M board, and it's one 5.0 and one 4.0.
Yeah.
Seems like enough.
There are definitely some 850s out there that don't offer 5.0, but the vast majority of them that I was looking at do.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
nice
but
looking
it's all
boards
about
too.
the Benjamins.
It's 189.
Yes.
It looks nice. I don't know who it looks like. It's reminding me.
Look, they've
maybe
got
of a
6 analog
MSI
audio
board.
outputs. Everybody
an
else
older
has
codec.
like 3.
NZXT maybe? No.
I've been seeing some comments about the audio codec that's in it because it's an 800 series, like an 897 or something.
Yeah.
But it's an older codec that still has the 6 analog outs.
It still
Like,
checks out.
It's an older codec, but still. But
I was about to clear them.
What's that damn thing? God.
I already beat you to it.
It's an older code, but still
checks
valid.
But
Still checks out.
it's an older code, sir, but it still
I was
checks.
going to call.
Still checks out. I was about to clear them.
It's going to.
All right.
I sense
So,
something.
yeah.
Nice.
It's a nice looking board. I have completed a build with it, and I've been doing some testing the last 2 days. One of the things that's really impressive about this to me is what Sapphire has done with the setup, like the UEFI setup. I think they call it their pure BIOS or something. It reminds me a lot of that very simplified kind of Web 2.0 looking BIOS that we had from the Intel Extreme NUCs. I don't know if all the NUC units had this, but just, very logical. This tab has these options. This tab has these. You're not going through sub tabs and clicking on things and drilling down. It's just very simply laid out. I'll have some footage of it to put into the video, but it was extremely easy to do what I wanted to do. Josh, I know that you wanted to talk about the latest from ARM. So before we move on
Yes.
to the news, I know we might have to talk about Apple too a little bit. The new iPhones, the
We
greatest
can just touch
iPhones
upon it.
ever.
We don't excuse
have
for
been
you guys to make
announced.
fun of me. You could do it at any time. You don't need the iPhone to make fun of me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can if you want.
Yeah. So
That was
anyway,
Cambridge.
ARM has released as of today their specs and kind of product differentiation of their latest Lumex platform, Lumex CSS platform. Double-digit performance games across the board. They've actually usually they've always done 3 CPUs: the top end, the X series, and then the Cortex A mid-range series that was still kind of higher end, and then the low end stuff. And now they've broken that out into 4. And so there's the new ARM, what do they call them? C1 Ultra. That's their top end. 25% increase in single thread performance, double-digit IPC gain year on year, which they kind of went over. The basic core is the same, but they did advancements on the front end and the back end. So a lot of stuff on prefetch, as well as what is that looping thing? Not error correcting. Gosh darn it. Why is it escaping me? Think about branch prediction. Sorry. So yeah, again, generational improvement, branch prediction, a lot of things internally to that helps data transfer, better access to caches, all of this stuff. And they've now got 4 levels: the C1 Ultra, so ultimate high end, the C1 Premium, which is new. So basically, it's ultra performance but greater area efficiency. So it's 35% smaller area than a C1 Ultra, but the performance is still kind of right up there. They call it a sub flagship mobile segment. And then below that is the C1 Pro, which is kind of the meat and potatoes. That it's again 16% increased performance from the last year's stuff. And then finally the C1 Nano, faster than last year's. It's still an in-order processor, but they've just done a tremendous amount on internals of that one to make it even more efficient, more powerful. And they've really done a lot with the fabric. So it's a tremendous amount of work all around to give you these kind of improvements in performance, improvements in efficiency. I'm going to be doing more of a write-up on this. I've got 2 days worth of notes that I need to go through. Didn't really have much time this week to since I got back from Cambridge when they were talking about this stuff. But it's not a generational increase, but ARM really doesn't have generational increases. They do a yearly cadence of new parts that are always double digits faster and more efficient than the previous generation. And they're aiming these at 3 nanometer wafers. So those are going to be expensive wafers. But, these are obviously they're smaller parts for the most part. They've got a lot of flexibility in what cores you want to use. So, if you have a C1 Ultra, you'll probably have like 2 of the C1 Ultra cores and then 6 of the C1 Pros. If you're going with more of a mid-range, you'd have, 2 to 4 C1 Pros and the rest be the C1 Nanos. It's just a very, very flexible configuration. They have RTLs available to their partners so they can get them into fabs quicker with these designs and, get out products. So they're expecting actually to see these at the end of this year, beginning of this year. Now, compare that to back in the 2011, 2012, where ARM would talk to us about their next generation stuff. And they say, well, we'll actually see parts, actually hitting the world in about 3 years. Well, that's no longer the case. They've really cleaned up how they do a lot of designs, how they distribute this data and these designs to their partners. And again, they provide RTLs to their partners so they can quickly synthesize these designs and get them out and the masks produced and these parts rolling off the fab lines. The Mali GPUs have also gotten bigger. The Mali G1 Ultra, it now features far better ray tracing performance, which of course, ray tracing on mobile, you think, why in the hell would they do this? But it's very, very focused. It's not like on the PC side where a lot of this stuff is, the entire scene. They really focus the software and the performance on areas that really need it. So character animations and different lighting areas, stuff that doesn't need ray traced. I mean, it's not going to do the work. So this generation does not have the further kind of AI enhancements that we talked about some weeks ago that they introduced. That's going to be a kind of a next generation part. But, for the stuff that they do on both the CPU and GPU side is more data formats that are being used by AI stuff. They want this to be kind of the premier edge platform. Other guys have gone for, NPUs that they add to the designs. That takes a different software stack to be able to address these NPUs. ARM is doing it so everything is all running on the CPU and GPU. It balances out which units are going to do the most workload of all this. It's a lot of it is kind of developer agnostic, in that a lot of it just works because it's all in that CPU stack, the software stack and GPU stack. So it's already kind of integrated. And that's, why ARM has not gone with like an Ethos NPU to add to their stack, even though Ethos has been very popular. I mean, if you're not familiar with it, that's their kind of, tensor AI machine learning thing. Those aren't seen in a lot of consumer level devices like cell phones. What those are in are like these, controllers for camera sensors that can do a lot of edge ML, video vision. I can't synthetic vision.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Aesthetics vision, little tiny lights that clean their AI powered. I mean, ARM suffers from ubiquitousness.
Yeah.
No
and so, I mean, it's
ARM
actually
is in
sold
everything.
It's actually sold very, very well in those things, but they're very specialized. And they didn't want to kind of step on their partners' toes by saying, hey, here's this NPU. And, Samsung has developed their own. Qualcomm has developed their own. They've done
Their own
millions of
chips.
dollars in their software stack to make these NPUs work in Android, and now going into Windows. So ARM didn't really want to step on toes in this rather interesting area, and so they really focused a lot of their workloads on CPU and optimizing it. So in a lot of these things, these latest generation CPUs are significantly faster. They just handle those kind of data formats much better. And so they're really hoping to look at the edge AI. So again, the fabric that connects it all together, it is more flexible. It is faster. These parts are going to be coming out pretty soon, and they're going to be fast, and they're going to be hitting over 4 gigahertz for a mobile part that will be consuming at most 5 to 6 watts in a handheld. It's going to be 15 watts or whatever in a laptop type environment, but you're still going to be seeing 4+ gigahertz performance out of these latest ARM cores. And again, IPC has improved dramatically over the past 10 years from where we have seen. So they're going to be really competitive with stuff. And, we'll have more on this later. They have a whole SME2 enhancement, which is, if you remember back in the days, Neon was their SIMD cores. They went to SVE and SVE2, and now it's SME2, which is a much more robust, I think it's actually 512-bit wide. It's kind of AVX in ways, but it doesn't consume the power that AVX does.
No.
Who would have thought? So yeah, it's a really interesting group of architectural changes and additions that they've used, and they just keep on top of it. There's a reason why they sell all their designs, and they power 99% of all cell phones and mobile parts in the world.
They've got a great instruction set, and they just can't stop optimizing the ways that they decode it and execute it. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, no, I had to gurgle it while people were chatting, and ARM is now 325 billion processors shipped.
Yeah, and they're everywhere, and they've actually upgraded their ISA. It's ARM v9.3a.
I know they're up to ARM v9
fully,
something, but
another fully 64-bit, encompasses all the SME2 stuff and instructions. I asked them, it's like, do you ever actually subtract or
it might break something.
Mesh?
They probably don't dare subtract
these instructions, and they're like, no, they're very conservative in changing the ISA, and these good. ISA, the changes what they do make. They're very focused. They're fighting against bloat, and they just make sure it is as fast as possible, and so they just keep moving forward, and they're a company that's making some good money and it's a good profit, and they have their head on straight. They just keep moving forward. Next 2 years we're going to be
bank.
What's that?
Making hard cash for SoftBank.
No, they SoftBank spun them off and they became independent again.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, it happened a couple of years ago. Yep.
Last I remember was the whole kerfuffle about them buying them.
Yeah,
well, buying a chunk.
Yeah, and NVIDIA originally wanted to buy ARM from SoftBank.
That didn't work out well.
No, it did not. It got nixed. So they went private. They went private and then public again.
So in their September 2025 keynote, Apple has unveiled something that at first glance, and I'm trying not to be as snarky as I want to be because I don't want this podcast to devolve into just pure snark, but it looks like a Google Pixel. It's a thin phone with a bar all the way across the top where your camera and flash and everything are housed. Of course, it's not a metal bar here. It's one of those glass ones, I think. And can I just say, this insanity about thin, it's already ruined the MacBook for me as a professional device when they got rid of real connectivity and a big removable battery.
There wasn't physical space for the ports and that battery anymore, right? I mean,
Of course not.
there's the
in the
problem.
name of thin. But at what point can we just stop measuring the thinnest point of an object? The thickest point where the massive camera protrusion is, that is the thickness of the device. If you
Yes,
had to
but
push
can we
this,
talk about the optical problem here? I mean,
if
obviously
you had to
they're
push this
struggling.
through a slot, if the U.S. Postal Service is measuring how thick your envelope is, this is not 5 millimeters. This is more like 11. I don't know how thick it is up at that camera, but it looks like it's more than twice as thick as the phone itself.
Yeah.
But hey, they have beautiful new colors. But yeah, the iPhone Air.
You're going to
it's
hide that behind a case anyway.
just so thin.
Well, no,
how
but
is
it
not
just
gonna
melds
bend?
into your hand, apparently.
Remember when the iPhone Plus first launched and there were YouTubers who were taking it in their hands and just bending it on camera?
I do remember that.
Well, this is literally it's gonna happen again. I don't care if it's titanium.
Oh, yeah.
It's too
It's
thin.
titanium.
You're gonna store
It's titanium.
the people who throw it in a back pocket and then sit on it. They are going to bend their phone.
You mean everyone?
Right. You've now got the all new iPhone Fold.
They should have produced a hinged phone. Now, this is probably just like a Rev 1 of whatever they're developing internally. If they are able to shrink the iPhone down to something this thin, then obviously they can come out with a folding phone next year. That's just two of these sandwiched together. But really, they need a clamshell. That's the...
Now I'm just constantly thinking about the Doctor Who episode with the lady who wanted to be thin.
So
Moisturize me.
If you look at this image, if you're watching the video version, this looks so much like a Pixel, but it's an iPhone. So congratulations. The
Maybe-
slab phone world
maybe
just got
design
even more generic
decisions
than it already was.
drive
Okay, you
the
got to scroll
aesthetic.
back up there for a second. I'm sorry I had to interrupt. That
No, you're not.
is the CPU, the memory, and storage all in the bump. The rest is battery
What?
and screen.
Okay, that's interesting.
Serious.
That is compact.
That is the entire phone, is what you're saying for the most part, right
Yeah.
there.
So what you're saying is they could make an iPhone just as big as the bump.
Yeah, but just think where you
Right,
put your
right.
mouth. You know what I'm saying?
I saw that on Naked
You
Gun
can't
once,
talk
I think.
and listen at the same time.
Or have a screen.
Just make every phone call a speakerphone call. There are lots of people who do that now. And here they're advertising
because
that
it's awesome.
eSIM is a flexible, convenient, secure connection. In other words, we didn't
No
have
more
room
SIM.
for SIM tray. There's no SIM tray room. Sorry, guys. eSIM only. But it works with MagSafe accessories, so you know. Okay, and
Only
there's
the
a new
highest
Pixel
end gets something faster than USB 2, by the way. Still USB 2 on everything but, I think, like the Pro and above. Disappointing, Apple.
Hey, Apple
Come
has a
on.
plan. Okay,
You know that
See, I've got
orange,
one already. Look, it's the exact same phone.
Yuck,
Yeah.
oh, you have the new
yuck.
iPhone Air.
the
I
that
put it in the
orange
case because, I mean,
the orange one at the top of that article, to me, that one just screamed 1999 iMac design.
Tangerine iMac. The Tangerine.
Yeah, it's nice. They're getting back to their roots.
They own all those colors, by the way. No one else can use them.
All right, let's move on. This podcast
no,
is
it's not
running
Jack
long.
Smith. That's not a Pixel 9. That's the all new iPhone. What are we talking about? The 23,
Yeah,
17, 16,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I thought they were going to
You're
go.
trying to come up with the operating
23.
system number. That's 26.
25. Oh, that's right.
No,
So
I
they
was going to come up with a
they
model
s-
number.
They switched over from sequential iOS versions.
19.
Which back in the old days, it was called iPhone OS. It's been iOS for many years.
Yeah,
now
till
it's
at
based on
Cisco.
the year, so it's like a car
Indeed.
model year thing.
Yes,
iOS
it's
26,
26.
model year 26 coming
model
in late
year
2025.
26. So much
Yeah.
smarter, easy to understand.
No, it isn't.
It's
Let's just do
decodable now.
sequential.
You know, I actually, I'll be
Windows-
honest about it.
I like the
Okay.
year thing.
I like the year thing. I mean, it's worked in
Okay.
cars for so long. I see so many reviewers that like get products and like, I can't follow the names of all these, it's just, it changes year to year. And it's like, well, why don't they just say, hey, this is the new Razer Blade 2026?
Because when retailers are stuck with old stock, they're going to be very unhappy by having product that just screams, I'm old. People don't go to a dealer lot to buy a brand new car and say, ooh, this 2023 looks pretty good.
The model is still sequential. The operating system release.
When I stand in a store and yell, I'm old,
Right.
people don't run away. Well, actually, they do. Never mind. Skip that.
That's a different reason.
Welcome to Insecurity Corner, your weekly reason to drink.
Our first story from PC Mag, record-breaking DDoS attack hits 11.5 terabits per second.
Now, you may have thought that the previous record of 7.3 terabits, well, that sounds like a lot. No.
Yeah. And that wasn't even
so
a year
many
ago.
more.
That was the beginning of this year.
There are so many more IoTs that are being pwned out there. So many more cameras, so many more doorknobs,
your toaster,
your light bulbs,
your personal massager,
your washing machine. Oh, so many opportunities of things that don't get patched because they were on, 2 years ago version of Linux.
Your Chime, your
vulnerable libraries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So 5.1 billion with a capital B packets per second amounted to 11.5 terabits per second. Definitely one to beat. Fortunately, this only lasted 35 seconds, but it's still quite a feat. It was mitigated by Cloudflare, luckily, because whoever the intended target was going through Cloudflare as a service. Lucky for them, or they would have been clearly blown off the network. But Cloudflare withstood the DDoS attack and repulsed it in such a way that didn't allow the traffic to go through. The other sort of interesting part about this particular attack was they use UDP, not TCP, which is typically reserved for UDP, that is reserved for like streaming protocols, video, audio, etc. So that was somewhat unique with this. And a lot of the source of the attack came from what they report as Google Cloud. Take that for whatever you will. Not everything was a broken camera or a doorknob. So a lot of it came from Google Cloud. I can speak occasionally.
So Google speakers and Nest thermostats and things like that?
It's or devices that were actually in the IP space of rentable instances that Google could spin up for you.
No, perfect timing, Kelt. We just started.
Welcome, Kelt. Yeah.
What time is it? Oh, it's time for Insecure.
Oh, it's that time.
It's okay. It could be
everybody
worse.
got their Valium? Has everyone got their Valium?
By the way, if you are one of the dozens of people who use Gmail from Google,
don't worry, it's strong and effective.
Yeah, there was some kind of rumor about Gmail being hacked, malicious parties, but Google says Gmail is strong, and it's denying this major breach that 2.5 billion Gmail users are at risk, says the story at Ars Technica.
Well, this is kind of a phishing attack that a lot of people saw as, being amplified or leveraged. And that really wasn't the case. It was just sort of a phishing attack that came through looking like it was sort of a legit Gmail source, and that's not the case. But a lot of people took it as, coming through and being sort of amplified and leveraged via the Gmail platform. So not true. I don't know if Google's response is exactly true, saying, it's strong and effective, our security. I almost see that as the Emperor Palpatine for a safer and secure, republic. I listened to that in the same tone of voice.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
We're back.
Move along. No. Just ignore the fireworks back there. But no, in this case, it was hyped, but does let us know that there is a giant vulnerability, which is that how many of your accounts depend on that one Gmail account, which is the fallback for when you forget the password and you need to verify.
And that's what this looked
hacked. This would be bad. I mean, the claim of 2.5 billion people being hacked. It's not quite that great. The fact that Google claims that, we blocked 99.9% of malware. Well, first off, do you remember 5 nines? 6 nines? Not 3 nines?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But no, it's vulnerable. I don't know necessarily I'm going to jump to a passkey instead of a password, because guess what? They didn't get hacked this week, but last week they did. We didn't talk about it. Next week, don't worry, we will probably talk about this sort of thing. But it's reason for concern. Make sure you don't have a single point of failure, but don't, in this particular case, believe the hype. It was not the end of the world, as
being
we know
a
it.
savvy internet user just becomes more complex every day. Sorry.
My password is, I forgot my password.
Just use Authy.
I literally have no idea anymore.
Just make sure you're using a 2-factor auth on that. Whatever.
Yeah, because those are perfectly fine as well.
Right. By the way, Plex has been breached again. It's been a while, but once again,
it's time.
We have to reset all of our passwords immediately because some customer database or bases were compromised, including email,
Sebastian,
usernames.
It's a story. Passwords. It's a story as old as every online service. It's not our fault. One of the third-party integrations that we have, that we share all of your data to, for purposes, their security was breached, but we were fine. That's kind of the story here, and that particular aspect of like how your quote unquote your data gets exposed and exfiltrated and brought in to whatever hacker space is being advantaged this week is always somebody else's fault. It's always the third party integration. I see that unfortunately often lately. I think we need to come to some other understanding that when you integrate and share with the third-party system, you're essentially extending your security boundary to theirs, and your trust shouldn't be implicit. And you can't just skate off of this with it was them, it's not us. Your data is still being exposed and exfiltrated and abused. I just don't think that the source of your data that trusted this third party should be let off scot-free. But anyway, the crux of this story is change your password. Sorry. Go right to the
I forgot how to do that after doing it 2 times in the last sort of 12 months or so.
Conveniently, that's plex.tv/reset or /security, one of the two. Go to /security off of plex.tv or /reset.
And when it asks you what your old password was, I forgot my password and send it to you.
You should be using a password manager.
Why? Because I'll never remember the password to it. And then they get hacked, and then everyone knows my passwords that I didn't even know in the first place.
That's right. It's an Ouroboros.
I just force them to constantly reset passwords. It was the worst idea for security we came up with. Secret passcode. What's the secret word tonight? Yeah, good enough. Go on then.
Yeah, if you never know what the password is, you need to reset it every time you access a said service. Is that more secure? I know.
If I don't know what my password is.
It's the old security and convenience are completely inversely proportional. Yes. I will never know my password. I need to reset it every time.
Hey, Brett, if you're using one of Apple's iPhones, your face is the password. You don't have to remember your face.
Tell me more. And
look at your phone, unlock it, and then go to your password manager, which is also Face ID.
Why can't I use my voice as a password?
What if somebody uses a recording of your voice?
Josh, there might be a problem
try and
if they use our faces or voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting
at this
for
point,
retinal scans on PC.
Yeah.
Wasn't fingerprint scans
they
enough?
exist.
Windows Hello 5.0. Just be
And
aware.
then I
no,
go
sorry,
up
it's
and
not-
I hold an eyeball on a pencil to it.
No, I was going
I
to say,
saw that.
I'm
I saw that in
wrong.
six Underground. Fantastic
Yes.
beginning to a movie, by the way. I used that to test audio systems.
No, it wasn't retinal scans that they did. It was the blood, the veins in your eyes that they were using. It was an infrared scan, so it would recognize. Okay, and I can't remember. There is a specific name for the pattern of the blood vessels in your eyes, and they were scanning that, but they were doing it with an IR camera. So yeah, the pencil eyeball wouldn't work. It was really expensive to implement, so it didn't catch on. Oh, I hope that plane is doing okay. That's a little bit loud.
All right. Moving on to a story from Bleeping Computer. Hijackers hijack NPM packages with 2 billion weekly downloads and supply chain attack. Please explain.
Oh, go ahead, Jeremy. I've done a lot of talking. Unless you want me to do it.
No, it's okay. It was stopped very quickly, but yeah. This is the problem, is that NPM is getting hijacked a lot lately, and we've discussed a variety of reasons why, so you can refer back to previous ones to figure out why it is that these domains are constantly getting hijacked. But it was lovely that they just sort of sent a phishing email saying, hey, we're worried about your security. We take this personally, and we want to make sure that all of your data is secure. And it's been
in this
at
case,
least,
Jeremy, a real account was hijacked. It wasn't the fake domain update. I know what the one
Or
you're
the
referring to, but
expired-
in this case,
yeah, it was a real domain.
yes.
Yes.
this was a real account, real domain, real supplier that had their source code, their base injected with malware. But
Yes. Okay.
and
Then they're not alone, unfortunately.
Yes,
but we
that's
won't go
true.
into those. But no, it's this email that you got saying, hey, it's been over a year since your last 2FA update. So just to make sure that, we don't get hacked and you don't get hacked, could you please complete this update as soon as possible? And if you don't, well, you're going to get locked out as of, I think, today. I think it was the 10th that they listed. So obviously, and it's coming from, as Brett says, a legitimate, fully maintained NPM project and proper domain, and just well formatted, no weird spelling mistakes, had the proper names for the accounts and everything, with just this little update 2FA button on it. It was downloaded so many times and just really hit a lot of people, because the whole thing about this was they didn't want what you have. They wanted access to your projects.
and crypto. They wanted to access your crypto as well.
Yeah. But it is also what we call a supply chain attack, where we want to inject something in and then grab hold of other people's traffic and just grab it. But one of the debug packages, if I'm reading this right, downloaded over 300 or around 360 million times per week. It's insane, but the thing is that this is sort of where you trust getting your stuff from. You want these package managers to be in charge of your packages, and you just download them and things are okay. And when they follow up and say, like Plex, like we just mentioned, maybe Plex is a scam. Maybe you don't need to reset your password. Maybe that's the phishing attack. But that's the problem. That's what you're dealing with nowadays. Is this one verified? Is this real? Is it fake? There's almost no way to tell.
It's so legit looking that you can't tell. In fact, in this case, the pretense of the ask was the hack. The source of it, the wording of it, And
Dude, we want to make you more secure. It's been a year.
Yeah.
And of course, when's the last time you updated your 2FA?
Legit. Yep.
But
the end result of this
thing. Oh, go.
Here's the punchline. The attackers made less than $1,000 off of this. They were attempting to cryptojack people who downloaded these packages. It then essentially, think of it as a glorified keyboard scanner that was really looking for you accessing your crypto wallets and then redirecting your transactions to their wallet. In the end, they netted $1,000 because this whole thing was detected and shut down in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
Luckily, it could have been a lot worse. And in my opinion of how much damage they could have done with this is that they set their sights very low. In my opinion, this could have been a lot worse than an attempt at let's make some money by stealing people's crypto wallet transactions.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the problem. Worse. They got greedy and tried to do it quick as opposed to letting it sit for a while.
Yeah, but it's such an amazing way in with the velocity and the scale of the downloads and the number of packages they could have infected that essentially this package was a dependency of so many others that it became a part of so many other packages that it proliferated to some significant percentage of cloud providers around the world in like a matter of hours. It was like, I don't know, 10% or 20% of cloud providers within a couple of hours. It was hot and being served and being utilized across the planet within a couple hours. So
and one wonders if
damage potential is huge.
Part of the problem is where one wonders is, were they not able to handle the traffic of all of these people trying to reset their 2FA?
To roll back or reset the 2FA? Yeah, I don't know.
Like literally that 2.6 billion weekly downloads, you need significant infrastructure to be able to handle that. So that might have also been it's like, yeah, this node is trying to suck up a whole bunch of internet traffic and it really isn't built for it.
Dude, we just Cloudflare that. That's whatever.
Which is fine. Yeah, you gotta laugh, right?
Right.
But hey, that's the end of this week's nightmares.
You can cry or laugh.
But you gotta laugh.
Moving on to gaming quick hits. And our first story, and I feel like this one is kind of self-explanatory. 32 gigabytes of RAM on track to become the new majority for gamers.
The pendulum has shifted.
A shift. Well, the shift is that DDR5 is now the standard, and they're 32 gigabyte kits and up, typically.
Now, I would be shocked if it was 48. I would be shocked if it was the new high-density ones that they put out that no one's really buying.
There are some weird ones,
the $80
too.
to $90 memory kits are all 32 gigs. That's what people are buying. Yeah. They're moving over to AM5. They're excited about X3D, and everybody's going to have 32 gigs of RAM.
Well, I mean, it takes 16 to just make Windows 11 stand up in the morning. So
I would have to go out of my way to find a 16 gigabyte kit of DDR5. Does it even exist?
I don't know.
Yeah, it does. It's a single. It won't be a dual channel. It'll be a single.
We're not talking about iBuyPower,
pre-builts,
Best Buy pre-builts.
Pre-builts, my man. Yeah.
That's why he specifically said kit.
Yeah.
So DDR5.
32 or go home.
I mean, the
16s is the way it's just that should be the base, even for like a corporate laptop.
We had kind of a leg to stand on when we were talking about textures and GPU, load in and all that. It seemed like 16 gig.
Oh my,
8 gig was so gone.
Sell 16 gigabyte kits. Here's one from Patriot Viper Venom, 2x8 gigabyte DDR5 6000 CL36. I don't know why you would buy. It's only $45. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to run BF2 fine. Seriously.
Right, but that's a game targeting older consoles.
That was where I was going with the question, Josh. Is it necessary? We could make a case for the GPU RAM or the VRAM. We made a case for that.
You can't let the GPU run away with the memory like this.
Is it
you can't have a 16 gigabyte system with a 32 gig
Kent,
video card. It's just not
Kent
right.
wants to say something, I can tell.
No,
It's not right.
I thought he did.
My kid still runs an 8 gig video card and 16 gig install, and all of his stuff runs fine. Of course, he plays League of Legends and Rocket League and Valorant and all that stuff, and it's fine.
So 32 gig, just because it's cheap. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I've got 32 gig in this. I got 64 in the new test machine that I'm testing out, and it doesn't matter.
you know, it's my best friend he loves the PCs I build, and he had been wanting me to build him a custom water cooled theme PC.
How much does he love your PCs that you build?
He appreciates the all the detail and the water cooling and the theme builds I do. But he had been wanting to do that, and he had actually been giving me money out of each paycheck to put aside until he had enough to build a system. And then his mom got him an Xbox 360, not the 360, the new Xbox, whatever it's called,
Series X,
for Christmas this past year. And he is honestly having just as much fun playing games on that as he would have on the PC he was wanting to build. And if that's where your focus is, you don't really need the 32. You don't need, unless if you're running a 1080p game, you really don't need more than 8 gigs of VRAM in most cases.
Xbox Series X has 16 gig.
Regardless. Yeah, but it's shared memory.
Damn it.
Well, I thought it was partitioned because the PlayStation likes to do they have the memory pool and it's GPU, CPU share. With Xbox, I thought it was partitioned out. So like OS gets a certain amount, graphics gets a certain amount. But yeah, it's
that's probably true.
But for those systems, they're not targeting a combination of high detail settings, high resolution. You kind of get either or, and games are optimized for it, and it's one hardware configuration, so you can have a team work on it, and it runs great. If you're a controller player, it is hard to argue unless you're obsessed with the latest technologies and you want full on hardware ray tracing and the native resolution of your panel.
In all fairness, they're not running a general purpose OS either. They're running a very optimized operating system. So that's very different.
Yeah, and they don't have to support multiple sound cards or multiple video cards and all the framework for all that stuff.
It's like
what's
like
crazy?
The Apple thing.
It's crazy.
What's crazy?
The Xbox Series X has now been out for 5+ years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got one of the originals. The thing has just been a rock star for what I use it for.
Does it heat up your room really, really good in the wintertime?
No, does not heat up the room.
You've never put your hand
I like that design. It reminds me of the old Apple with the central
G4
cooling
cube.
Yeah.
With the one with no fan.
The tissue box.
Yeah, the one that died. Almost all of them died. Yes.
The garbage can?
Because they overheated and cooked.
Yeah.
The downside of all of that story was that, I had to give him all the money he'd given me to set aside back to him. And then he spent it all on hookers and blow. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's a better
So
investment.
everybody wins is what you're saying. All right. Next, speaking of optimizations, Intel APO update. We'd heard about this a year ago. Well, they just published their first 2025 update for APO. It's not looking great over there. It takes this long to put a few more games on the list, and it's only up to 14%.
15 additional games.
After a year, we have 15 more games that support.
Come on. City Skylines, Assetto Corso, all
I'm not
kinds
saying
of
the
Callisto
games are
Protocol,
bad. It's just
Wolfenstein Youngblood. World of Warships. Come on, everybody's playing.
I love how they had to mention Metro Exodus Enhanced gains of 14% performance improvement. Yeah, they know that reviewers use that game in benchmarks. Why else would they be worried about a game that's a decade old now?
Yeah, pretty much.
But
I still need to finish that. Damn it.
So hey, 3% better performance in World of Warships, guys.
Remember, this is on their flagship Core Ultra 9 285K,
Which
we know a lot of gamers are using.
The previous generation flagship.
Shh,
Hey, Warships just celebrated their 10th anniversary.
Just admitted that.
So
Yeah.
it's got legs.
And they got flagships.
Legs.
Josh, you used to stream Warships.
I did. I still play it now and then. Not as much as I used to, but yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing to segue into, so let's go on.
Finally,
Stop killing games.
after Ubisoft's shutdown of The Crew spawned the Stop Killing Games movement, a group of fans are finally ready to release a server. This is like an entire article, but it's the title of an article. Are finally ready to release a server emulator to keep the racer alive. No one will ever be able to take this away from you now. That is just the title.
Until
The news
GameSpy
post.
goes away.
By Dustin Bailey at Games Radar.
It's a way to run a local service for this open world racer called the Crew from Ubisoft. And Ubisoft, basically kind of shut down the service, and it's too bad you bought the game. Set that money on fire.
You didn't buy the game. Hey,
You rented
didn't buy
it.
the game. You bought a license to use the game on your system until they decided to take that away.
Do I dare call you an Ubisoft apologist right now?
Just read the EULA.
Oh, no.
You
No,
agreed
they're
to
proud
this
of
when you
it.
installed the game.
Anyway.
Oh, and don't worry, Steam is just as bad. They're just not doing anything right now.
A lot of folks felt differently about this, and they were a bit salty about it.
Apparently there's
And
a
so-
huge
Don't worry, they're
community
gonna get
of
sued.
people who play the Crew.
Exactly.
They are very upset.
So they've come up with a way to host a service that will allow you to continue to play this. But it also spawned the Stop Killing Games movement, which is where part of this article kind of delves into, which is kind of the killing of the Crew sort of socialized the knowledge that these games are being like shot in the head and brought out back behind the woodshed and buried. And so this movement started of the Stop Killing Games. I don't know where this is going, but I sort of support the idea. I definitely support the idea. Like I want to be able to play whatever I want.
But the problem
I
is
bought it.
that abandonware doesn't mean that they've lost the license. And
There's that.
Some companies will happily sue people.
Did you
that
say
do this
Nintendo
sort of
out loud?
thing.
Because we're gonna get a good neighbor
totally
check if we
did
say the word
not. I just said
Nintendo,
abandonware.
unless we follow it with the words TM. Nintendo
You
TM.
said, yeah. But that is a problem. Is that okay? You've abandoned the game. You don't care about it anymore. But if someone brings it back, all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, lawyers, can you wake up and go after this group of people?" Well, it's just some kid in the basement that's did some things. Yeah, we don't care. Go after them. And that is what I think the Stop Killing Games movement should be, is literally if it's become abandonware, if you've thrown your hands up and said, no, we don't care anymore, as long as they're not pirating it. They did technically, buy access for a limited amount of time or rent it, but you don't own your games anymore. You don't have a CD.
Just get
Do you know who's behind all of this? Metallica.
I know
They
it
got
is.
bored with Napster, and now
Yeah.
I remember this.
They were just
And Napster came
RIAA
back, so now they need a new
pawns.
target.
They were just pawns. This was a bigger play. This was the Recording Industry Association and
I
their
need a new pool.
fear of the loss.
I
of
need a
revenue
new
from record
pool.
sales.
bad.
All right. Let's move to the reviews portion of our podcast, and very quickly, we're going to
Yes.
talk to Jeremy about the SK Hynix Platinum P51. You went hands-on.
I did. I touched it in interesting places. One of the things that SK Hynix does, because they sent me the P41 a while back, they do in-house. So their controller, SK Hynix. their NAND. Well, not surprisingly, SK Hynix. So this is the PCI 5.0 version. Inventively named the P51. It's gone from their Aries ACN S075 controller to the new Alistar. I mean, are they doing a callback to Acer Labs or something here? Like, shouldn't it be Alistar? But regardless, it's the Alistar controller, Gen 5 ACN T093, and they've bumped up the 3D TLC from 176 layer to 238 layer. It's a PCI 5.0 drive. It's incredibly impressive in benchmarks. It fully hits their specifications, where they're suggesting that you should see about 1.25 gigabytes read and 11 gigabytes write. And yeah, you do. Or no, sorry, that's the T-Force. That's 14.7 gigs read and 13.4 gigs write on the P51. I apologize. The thing is that I picked up a T-Force GC Pro from Team Group, which is significantly less expensive, uses an Integrate controller, and shockingly SK Hynix RAM. So I had something to compare against, because when I found out that they were shipping this, I wanted, something to test it against it, because, I don't have a stable of SSDs. So one of the things that I wanted to check, because I bought an 870 and not an 870E, is when I toggle my USB 4 on and off, I can emulate Gen 5 by 2 instead of Gen 5 by 4. And lo and behold, the math works out. Gen 4 by 4 is essentially the exact same thing as Gen 5 by 2. And if you are on a board that has shared PCIe lanes, if you are doing regular gaming, you're not going to notice a difference. It's going to be the same. A couple of nanoseconds will be lost from your life. If you are doing heavy workloads that involve read and write, one of the things that SK Hynix did for this one is that, yes, AI is involved. 2 million hours mean time before failure. You can hit this thing on reads for forever, and it shouldn't die. That's on top of the 5-year warranty that you'd be expecting. So overall, I mean, hey, it is a brilliant drive. It is really fast. It is significantly faster than the P41 in benchmarks. Sebastian may bring up the same thing in the following review. For real world, I'm sorry, it's not going to make a difference. There's a lot of arguments, and hey, show off the new GIFs. So screen capture now does GIFs. So you can actually watch the green bar move.
That's
you can
special.
see what we do for a very long time, over and over and over again. Share some of our pain.
I'm trying to capture your file names as we go by here. I'm just checking those out.
This is Steam and App Data, because a bunch of games throw your save games into App Data, including the multiplayer ones that I'm playing with my dad and my brother, so I had to try and save those. It's exciting to benchmark storage. Long story short, because Sebastian is going to sort of cover this same sort of thing, PCIe 5, amazingly fast, except in real world applications where it's not so much. At the very end, I do offer some tips for external USB users. There is a setting you should use with computer management to go back to the old unplug before you eject a drive, because otherwise there is no caching and you are getting a lot less out of your NVMe enclosure than you would be. And also, my God, those things get hot. I'm trying to jury rig like an old heatsink to actively cool the NVMe drive that's on my USB. Just, otherwise it collapses.
Jeremy, did I waste my money on this P41?
No, you didn't. I'm still running a P41 as well.
I chose wisely.
Yes.
Yeah,
both drives are very good.
P51, as reviewed by Jeremy, the 2 terabyte is $269 in the US.
Here is the thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you look at the pricing, when I posted this, the 350, the P51 in Canada is $350. The Team Group T-Force GC Pro is $230.
Ooh, that hurts.
We're looking at differences in performance like this.
What about longevity? What about writes? We're long period of time. What if this is my OS drive and I'm swapping on it?
Well, I mean, the P41's been going. It's seen things over the last year and a half.
I will point out, if you're looking
and it still goes.
If you're looking beyond sequentials and just file transfers and stuff, and if we'd run the PC Mark 10 full system SSD benchmark, I think we'd probably see this illustrated as well. That integrate controller, it's significantly behind what SK hynix has when it comes to 4K random performance. This chart here shows that it's like 120, 125 megabytes per second faster in that random 4K read and write performance. Actually, especially write performance is significantly faster.
Yeah, then the write takes a hit.
So the Team Group drive is great. It's all the way back down closer to that P41 level.
Yep.
Like a Gen 4 drive almost when it comes to the random 4K performance.
Interesting, yeah.
But on the flip side, if you look at the fancy DLC one that I did, the comparison charts on the 3D Mark. If you can find those, Sebastian.
There are no comparison charts. I've got just your screenshots.
Team Group pulls out a surprise.
Oh, because of direct storage performance?
Really?
No, it's... Yeah, no, that's the feature test. No, just a little bit different. Scroll down just a little bit. A little bit further. There you go.
Okay.
So this was the interesting one, is that, and a couple of other sites found this exact same thing, that the integrate controller on the T-Force, direct storage RAM to VRAM, actually sees a slight advantage. We're talking 0.5% to 2.5%. But it is a thing, so if this is a non-OS drive, it will actually talk a little bit quicker in between those. But again, not enough to notice. And not enough to throw an extra $100 at it.
How many applications use direct storage again?
Well, 3D Mark does.
It was such promise. You were the chosen one.
You were the chosen one.
All right.
But hey, with non-direct storage, it's 2.5% faster. I don't know. It's hard to justify spending the extra on a PCIe 5 drive.
This was a Micro Center purchase. Sending this out. P41.
Honestly, you're not going to notice the difference.
I paid about
the P41 and the P51.
Okay.
But
Jeremy,
Sebastian,
our resident Gen 4 evangelist,
advocate,
he's been telling me that there's just no reason for Gen 5, that it's pointless.
So, hey, Sebastian, did you find something different?
Well, I found the fastest SSD in the world.
Yes,
on
you
my
did.
Front step. Samsung sent over, and I've already reviewed the 9100 Pro, but they sent the 8 terabyte. I would have been happy with the 4 terabyte. The 4 terabyte in this generation of drives was the sweet spot for performance. If you look at the numbers here, they were rating the 4 and 8 terabyte for the fastest performance, especially random read and write was much better with the 4 and 8 terabyte drives. And this also benefits from having significantly more cache memory. The 8 terabyte drive has 8 gigabytes of LPDDR4X on board. So just overall, this is going to be a monster. I put it on the same test platform that we used the last time around, and here's a look at peak performance. It's 14,848 QD8 single thread, just the standard settings from Crystal Disk Work if you do peak performance. 13,430 on the writes. Your random 4K was up there. I'll look at a chart here comparing it to the 9100 Pro 2 terabyte. And look at the low Q depths here. This is sequential read. QD1 was actually a weak point from the 2 terabyte 9100 Pro. I was surprised at how much faster Crucial's T705 and T710 were at QD1. But now Samsung just has the lead at every Q depth. They've completely caught up and surpassed the Crucial 710. And I assume the 4 terabyte model will have these same numbers. I don't have one to test, but so the gap.
No, the 4 and the 8 should be about the same.
Yeah, so we're not looking at big advantages other than if you look at sequential write, QD1 sequential writes are still faster with the T710. But it's just few and far between where Crucial has the lead anymore. And the all-important PCMark full system drive benchmark with the drive half full, the 9100 Pro 8 terabytes, it even beats out that 9100 Pro 2 terabyte that I had, which was by almost 20 megabytes per second, already the fastest drive ever that we've tested in that. But anyway, the overall performance of the drive across a variety of different applications in that very long and extensive test, it's very impressive. So if you have $1,000 to spend on an SSD, if you want to say, I have the biggest, fastest SSD in the world, it's a huge flex. It is the fastest.
That's not 10 cents a gig.
No,
it's one of the most expensive. So if you have a rig with a 5090 and you've just got a bunch of extra money laying around, you owe it to yourself to have the $1,000 9100 Pro 8 terabyte.
I've got 300 titles on my Steam account. I'm going to install them all.
And you're only going to be half full.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I love the bandwidth that it offers, but in a real world, it's just...
Jeremy, the real world of Gen 5 is going to be when everything is Gen 5 on your board. It doesn't make any sense to have
we're already working on Gen 8
drive.
So why buy Gen 5?
If you're going to be testing like sequential file transfers and stuff, like, look at this, it's not any faster. Well, if you had a Gen 5 drive and a Gen 4 drive, the Gen 4 drive would be slowing you down. If everything's Gen 5.
It did take a lot longer to copy my Steam library over.
Especially over USB.
That. Oh, or internally.
Yeah, it's painful when I have to do file transfers just to fill up a Gen 5 drive, and I'm doing it off of my Gen 4 drives.
Thank you, Versa Medium, by the way.
Thank you for pronouncing that, Jeremy.
$5 is $5.
Ooh.
Let us move to picks of the week. Josh, please get us started.
So, you may not know this, but NVIDIA has redone their shuffle.
What?
And they're offering...
You mean Newegg?
Newegg.
They're offering a truffle?
Not NVIDIA. Newegg. Another N company. Newegg. Newegg Shuffle. They're doing it again. And they have, multiple interesting products. And today I actually bought a new laptop for the first time since 2011. Of course, the 2011 laptop that I have was actually given to me by Ryan. It was the Intel Ultrabook prototype. So it's got a i5 3000 series Intel CPU mobile in that thing. Shockingly, it has lasted a long time. And it's been usable. I actually took it to Cambridge for the ARM thing and took notes on it. Can't do a whole lot else anymore with Windows 10 and only 4 gigs of memory that's soldered on the board, and you can't expand it. So they had the little brother of the one that I just posted. So it's a Lenovo It's a last generation Zen 4 based Ryzen 7 8840HS, which is like a 28 watt TDP. APU. Am I allowed to say that anymore? So this one is $699. The one on the Shuffle was $400 after everything was said and done. And the only difference is the $400 one had 16 gigs of memory and 512 storage. So only 8 gigs. But still, the $699 for a laptop that features an IPS screen of 1920 by 1200. When's the last time you've seen that aspect ratio?
Every time I open an Apple laptop.
Well, okay. Anyway, it's 15.3 inch laptop. You can upgrade it. You can add more memory to it if you want. It just was at $400. I couldn't resist getting, because I needed a new laptop badly. This one is, it's saying it's a little long in the tooth. It's amazing it lasted this long as a prototype Ultrabook. And Charlie Demerjian at the ARM conference had plenty of interesting things to say about it, but it worked. And now, though, I really need a new one. So yeah, watch out for those Newegg Shuffles. And in the meantime, at $700, that's still a really good price for an 8-core, 16-thread, reasonably solid integrated graphics, the 780M. And yeah, it's just good Lenovo quality. Looks nice.
But I can't make it into 1 mega core.
Intel has the patent on that. Sorry, guys. All right. Thank you, Josh. Jeremy. Jeremy, your pick this week, please.
So I recently upgraded to an X3D, and I bought the Wancool 217. And so it ships with a lot of fans, but the two on the top are empty. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to buy something and stick them in there. Like, for instance, this Arctic that I can't stand because it sounds like an old-style AMD lawn blower. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to grab some Noctua fans. I can't buy Noctua fans in Canada.
What?
They are either unavailable or I have to pay import fees from Hong Kong. I am worried that this is sort of a thing that is going to spread. So I just want to bring this up. I checked Amazon.com, and yeah, you can still grab them. And you might want to, because, oh no, that's the LS. No, I don't want the LS. I want the proper full fan. Because the G2s significantly increase the static pressure, significantly increase the CFMs, and went up by like 0.2 decibels. So I'm kind of looking for these, but I can't even find the original generation of 14s without, paying shipping and import duties. I just want to warn people that, if you're a fan of the Brown or the Chromax, you might want to start investing in some of these fans, because seriously, it's I can't find them. It's a little upsetting. I don't know if this is a pick, an anti-pick, or a warning, but I do love my Noctua fans. They are the quietest.
Going back in time, around 2000, what was that super fan, super loud? It was something black. That it was the overclockers.
Oh, it wasn't the Super Flower. It was the...
No.
Oh, damn,
There was
Josh.
a specialty company.
What wasn't something black? Was it?
Nope.
Nope. Oh, I'm pretty sure I killed those brain cells, but I'm going to keep looking.
But they were so loud. But they pushed... Was it the Delta Black?
Delta.
I think we've got it.
I mean, Delta's got
Yeah, no, it was the Delta Black.
Take your
Delta Black.
Wait, now I can hear it. Now I can hear it.
Yes.
It's like a server room, but right next to your
Yeah,
fan.
it sounds like a 40 millimeter
Exactly.
fan on a Cisco switch. But no, it was big and it was cooling. But they sucked heat out like nobody's business.
You ever seen the
You just
40
had to
millimeter
put a baffle
fans that
between
were
you.
actually deeper than they were wide?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Panaflow. There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Oh, Panaflow, yeah.
Or Alpha. Oh, those
Yeah.
were loud too.
It's probably Delta, though.
Jeez. But yeah, I bet you that was Delta.
All right. Brett.
So yeah, keep an eye out for your Noctuous. You might need them.
Brett, your pick
Woot's-
this week.
Woot's got a pretty good deal on the B650 Mini ITX AM5 motherboard with support, obviously, for DDR5 as well as PCIe 5 and Wi-Fi 6E for a paltry $149.99, even cheaper than some of the new Sapphire boards. Well, this is an ITX. Normally, you have to pay a premium for the ITX size. You know, as things get smaller, more compact, it actually becomes somewhat more difficult to produce sometimes. And the case is true usually for ITX, usually a premium for these sort of boards. So $149 for an AM5 board might be just the ticket for your next slightly more budgety ITX build.
It's a 12-layer board with 2 times the copper of, I guess, lesser boards.
Yeah, and Wi-Fi 6E. So not
Yeah.
bad. $149.
Tempting.
You could pay a lot more for one of these.
Yes, you certainly can.
Yes, this is not a bad deal. If you need this might be worth a look.
All right. Thank you. Kent, your pick this week.
You know, if you ever find yourself in need of a handy, convenient little flashlight, this is from Next LED. Come on.
That's not a
Put your hand
mag light.
behind it. There you go.
So this is an all aluminum construction. It's actually kind of nice. It has 2 magnets on it, and they are not insignificant magnets, but it's USB-C rechargeable, and it's got a spotlight that is ridiculously bright, a flood that is also ridiculously bright, a slightly less ridiculous setting on the flood, and also, you know, if you're looking for like leaks in an engine bay, it also has a UV light on it, which is pretty handy.
Does
Like I
it
said,
vibrate?
no,
How
it does
handy
not
is it?
vibrate.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure where he was going, but I don't like it.
Yeah,
Is it made by Hitachi?
no, but all aluminum construction. It's actually got inches and centimeters, inches on one side and centimeters marked on the other, so you can use it for measuring and a straight edge. It's really well built, and the magnets are actually really handy. I've actually used them to pull screws out of an engine bay that have fallen in. So, yeah, $37.99. It's been really handy.
Magnet, flashlight, ruler, all in one. I like
Yep.
it.
I'm checking to see if that Sapphire board is actually for sale.
Oh, good luck.
Sebastian, this is your on the spot.
There we go. Okay.
Your opportunity.
My pick this week, I'm going to pick that board I was talking about because I've been using it. And I'm checking to see if it's actually available on Newegg yet. There are other Nitro Plus boards, but I just see the Micro ATX variant. But honestly, the B850 chipset would be perfect for Micro ATX because one of the limitations is that electrically, the other by 16 slots are only a by 4 and a by 2. So really, all you need is a mini ITX board with that chipset. But anyway, I'm not seeing it yet, so I will not pick that because you can't buy it. But at $189, I'd pick it. So maybe next week. Speaking of next week, I will not be available next week. So there cannot be a podcast unless somebody else wants to take over and
Where are you
run
going?
the show. Family vacation. My wife has had this plan for a long time.
So you're going on vacation with your family, or you're taking a vacation from your family?
No,
That is a good question. Good
that
question.
was Josh last week. But the whole family's going on this one.
Where are you off to?
Wally World.
Yeah,
Wyoming.
He's going to Wally World.
I wish it would be fun if we were going to go to out west and meet up with Josh and go to Born in a Barn after all these years.
Oh, gosh,
Yes.
That would be great.
You
Anyway,
like hiking? You like mountain sports? You like fishing?
I do like hiking, Josh, but
Nudge,
not
nudge,
not
wink,
the
wink.
speed that I suspect you would be hiking.
No, I'm
take
much
those-
slower in the mountains.
What? Okay, I'm just thinking
True
of
story.
Las Vegas, Josh, which
I know.
is just like
Listen,
5 miles
It's
an hour
flat
everywhere he
ground.
goes. All right. Anyway, that's going to do it for another episode of the PC Perspective Podcast. I want to thank you for listening, watching. I've been recording for almost exactly 2 hours. I have no idea how much of this
Yeah,
footage will be
made
left.
Some
far
of it,
past
floor.
your limit.
some of it is useful.
I would
So,
say a good
not-
85% of this podcast will probably make it out.
That's going to be a new record.
It's a new
gotta
lap
be.
record. It's a Star Wars Episode 1 podcast reference.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. And thank you, listeners and viewers and supporters. And we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Because without you, we'd be doing this to ourselves.
I don't
It's a rather
understand that reference,
aspiratory comment.
and I don't want to.
All right. All right. Good night, everybody.